the second to last song on House of Golden Bones Part 2. For anybody that doesn't know about these two albums, they are incredible. They are just, it's an interesting story about how you change the person that you've become, and the decisions that you make and the things that happen and everything like that. Like it's a very symbolic way of doing it. And in the story, Zero is the main character. He gets thrown into this world. He doesn't remember how he got there. He meets an alternate version of himself, and this character then is like a chameleon. They can become anything that they want. So they at one point like becoming his father and taunting, or his abusive, I think, stepdad or whatever, and like taunting him. And like at one point, this chameleon becomes a woman and tries to entice him. And like there's also other characters that pop up in this, that there's this very old, seasoned, very wisdom filled man that is very calm. And, he kind of goes on a hike with him, and he's, like, well, Zero, this is what this means, or like, this is the stuff that you have to remember. And essentially if you don't want to know anything about House of Golden Bones, I'll let you get out of here. But essentially what you find out is that this entire thing is happening in his mind, and all of these people that he's meeting are the people he could become. Will you become your father? Will you become wise? Will you become a maniac? Will you become, mindless? Okay. And the whole point of the House of Golden Bones is that he has to make it to this place before what's called the conflagration happens. And it's essentially when the world is set afire, and there's only going to be one person left when it's all done. And in the conflagration, there are two lyrics that really stood out to me, because I believe it's from the perspective of the wise man, and I believe his name is Peckinpah. But he says, "Show me your ungrateful tyrants. I'll point out the mirror pointed at you."
Oh.
And he's like this idea of like, in the way that I perceive it. And again, this, it's up to everybody's interpretation, but it's kind of at the climax of the story where like Peckinpah is like, look, Zero, this is up to you. Like, if you can make it to this chair and sit down before, this fire engulfs everything, that's the person you're going to become. But you're going to retain this knowledge that you had while you were here, is that you're not going to change yourself as like your physical being, but you're not going to become the negative things that you've seen. Is that you're going to remember what these negative things were, and you're going to be able to become a better person because of that. And just that whole idea of just like, no, like, show me your ungrateful tyrants. I'll point out the mirror it points at you. And it's like, you're looking into this thing, and you're seeing, just the possibilities of what can happen, and you're pushing these tyrants away. But it's like, no, like, you're a part of it.
Right.
And it's hearing that come from Corey is so interesting, because it's especially too, the music is Part 2 almost kind of works like a score to a movie. There's so many layers. Like, I mean, they are song and structures. There's verses, there's choruses. Like, I mean, that's everything, but I know that I think it was Jim and Josh, their two guitarists, like they put so much work into all the composing and everything that they did on that, of like making sure that it did feel as big and as powerful as it needed to be. But yeah, just when you're using that mentality of a mirror, of just like, it's that tough thing that when the mirror is staring at you and you're seeing it, it's just, that's the rough thing where it's like, wow, like I have to accept these things about myself, and it's, the story is incredible. And it's, I don't know, it's something that, I know that I listened to the 2-part album, probably 2 or 3 times a day for like a month. I would just put my headphones on. I knew where it started. I knew where it ended, and it would be like, oh, cool, it's time for part 2. Let's get to Red City. It's like, that's the first track on, the next one. But there's really any of the other songs I could have chosen. But I don't know. The conflagration is just, it's a very triumphant track. It's this idea of like, you can either choose to live this way, or you can choose to make a change.
Yeah.
And it's really incredible.